Oh, welcome in. I am your host, Anthony, and this is the Super Heroclix channel. I wanted to shoot this video since Veterans Day is here and say just a huge shout out to all of our vets here in the Heroclix community and all over our country. Thank you guys so much for your service. And in honor of that, I thought it would be a cool video idea to go over a top 5 of one of the most famous soldiers and vets in not only comics, but really throughout all of pop culture. That's right, if you haven't guessed it yet, by the headband, today we're talking about Captain America. I'm pretty excited for this video, but before we get into it, I want to put down some ground rules. Number one, I am personally more on the newer side when it comes to tournament play and the meta, and just Heroclix in general. So if your favorite Captain America from back in the day doesn't make the top 5, that's probably why. But either way, I hope you guys still enjoyed this video, and let me know, your thoughts on the top 5. One other thing is, when I originally planned this video, I was going to be doing just top 5 Captain Americas of anyone who has held the Captain America mantle. However, I did a poll in one of the Heroclix Facebook groups, and just doing more research for this video on who I wanted to put in as my top 5 Captain Americas, I quickly realized that all my top 5 were Steve Rogers anyways. So in this video, we're only going to be talking about Steve Rogers as Captain America. So if a character is named just Steve Rogers, they're not going to be on the list. If a character is named Captain America, but is actually Sam Wilson or John Walker Captain America, they're not going to be on the list. The only people on this list are Steve Rogers as Captain America. And the last thing to keep in mind is these top 5s aren't necessarily the top 5 most meta Captain Americas, the top 5 Captain Americas that dominated when they came out. It's more just kind of an amalgamation of pieces that I think are, really cool looking, who do have some competitive play and aspects to it, that may have some really cool powers that just kind of separate them from, all the other versions of this character. So like I said, it's a combination of all those things put into one, wrapped up in a top 5 list based on my opinion. With all those ground rules and all those things being said, we can go ahead and get into Big Tony's top 5 Captain Americas. Big Tony's top 5 Captain Americas. Starting off our list at number 5 is the legacy card Mjolnir Cap. The number one reason why he makes the top 5 is this iconic sculpt. Cap is not only one of the few characters that could even wield Mjolnir, but one of the first to ever do it besides Thor himself. Not to mention, this legacy card gives a nod to this amazing scene from Endgame.
I knew it.
I'm not sure about you guys, but my theater literally cheered and lost their minds when this happened. So yes, this Cap makes the top 5 easily. Let's see what he does exactly. Captain America has the Avengers and Defenders team ability with the Asgardian Avengers, Defenders, Marksman, Pass, Soldier, and Warrior keywords. His first trait, on your left, free. Once per game, if an opponent force has more characters than yours, generate all bystanders on this card. This is a pretty cool power because if you're ever
Outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned, we gotta make an all-out stand.
now you're able to bring in these reinforcements in Falcon, Hulk, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange. Hulk and Falcon are going to be your ground and aerial attack, and then Spider-Man and Doctor Strange are your support pieces with some perplex and probability control. Those are definitely some useful powers that can help you out maybe mid or late game. His next trait is I Knew It. Energy explosion, energy shield / deflection, free, make a ranged attack. I think every Captain America should have ESD, so this is cool that that is traded. And then this legacy card originally had really no attack power, so now having traded energy explosion gives him a little bit extra firepower for Captain America to work with here. The second part, which is free, make a ranged attack, is also pretty nice because now you're able to charge in a battle and then do a free range of 5 with this Captain America as well. Then his damage power, which you do get access to on clicks 1 and 2, is Avengers Assemble. Leadership. Friendly characters with the Avengers TA modify their defense +1 for each friendly character with the Avengers team ability adjacent to them. This is really cool because, like we said earlier, through his first trait, you're getting to generate 4 bystanders with the Avengers team ability. So as long as they're all adjacent to each other, you're going to be getting at least a +3 to your defense, which this Captain America desperately needs because he originally comes from What If, with a 17 defense starting. So being able to boost his defense up, from 17 to 18, 19, or potentially 20 is definitely going to make him a little bit more formidable and a little more tanky. So some pros and cons for this Captain America. The pros are he has some amazing team abilities, a lot of theme team potential, a lot of ways to equip him with some really good equipment for free. He has some great team abilities in Avengers and Defenders. And he has 3 really amazing traits. So he has these powers that he gets access through his entire dial with improved targeting through elevations and out of adjacency. As for his cons, I'd say he has 2 major cons. Number 1 is he's 75 points. I feel like that's a lot for a Captain America. I prefer my Captain Americas to be around that 60 to 50 point range, maybe even a little bit lower. And then the next con he has going for him are just his actual stats on his dial. He starts off with a 10 movement, 11 attack, 17 defense. His damage is amazing, but those defensive stats are what really brings him down for me. But thankfully, we'll go over, in the notable pairing, some ways to boost up those stats. Starting off with our first notable pairing, we have Mjolnir. This is going to be a staple for every single Captain America on our list because you get to equip it to him absolutely free. Now, going into some of the other ones, he has the Asgardian keyword, meaning you could equip this guy with the Destroyer armor completely for free also, and that kind of solves his issue with having a 17 defense. Now he has a 19 defense naturally, and you can still boost that through his Avengers Assemble trait. Next, he has the Marksman keyword, so you could throw some trick arrows on him for free to maybe get off some more attacks, or move around your opponents, or get through stop clicks. There's just a ton of useful trick arrows out there. So you name it, you decide how you want to use them. The last one is the warrior keyword. So that means he would have access to the longsword for free as well, meaning he would be able to boost up his attack and damage power, with that close combat expert in blades. I definitely think if you're looking to go more offensively, I'd say put the longsword on him. If you're looking a little more defensively, I'd say the Destroyer armor is the go-to add. Number 4. Coming in at number 4 is the Kooky Quartet Captain America from the Kooky Quartet 400 set. This dude is a blast from the past. Literally, if you don't know what I'm talking about, he does a lot of cool stuff with past keyworded characters specifically, but we'll get into that in a little bit. This Captain America has the Avengers team ability, the Avengers, Invaders, Past, and Soldier keywords. He comes in at 100, 75, or 25 points, so a lot of variety there. And he has improved targeting through elevated and out of adjacency. But let's go ahead and see what he actually does. His first trait is Cap's Kooky Quartet. When Captain America hits, after resolutions, choose 1. Remove an action token from a friendly character with the Avengers team ability, or heal a friendly character with the Avengers team ability one click. This is a pretty straightforward trait. He's definitely helping out, characters with the Avengers team ability, as Captain America would do. Going to his special attack power, you only get access to this if you play him at 100 or 75 points. And it says Shield Bank Shot. Range. Choose a square within range and line of fire that is adjacent to blocking terrain or elevated terrain. Make a ranged attack as if Captain America occupies the chosen square. When Captain America hits 2 or more targets with the ranged attack, instead of normal damage, he may deal each hit character damage equal to his printed damage value. This is a pretty solid attack power in my opinion. He has running shot while he has that attack power, so he could actually move up 4 squares. And then with this range, you choose a square of blocking terrain within 3 squares, which is his range. And now he could target characters 3 squares from that square, up to 3 targets, and he's dealing them all his printed damage value. If you play him at 100 points, that's 4 clicks of damage. If you play him at 75 points, that's 3 clicks of damage. So overall, I think that is once again, a really solid attack power. And then we'll get into his damage power here, which says, leading a new team of Avengers. Leadership and Perplex. As we've been saying, all Captain America should have leadership. While it's not traded, he does have this special damage power if you play him at 100 or 25 points. And then if you play him at 75, he just has regular leadership. So he does have leadership throughout his entire dial. And then through this damage power, he's actually perplexing up friendly characters or even himself. So definitely, supporting the Avengers team and leading them to another fight. Now, if we take a look at the team up card, in my opinion, this is what separates this Captain America from being just a good Captain America to potentially a meta piece. His trait with the team up card is Team Up, the first Avenger. When establishing theme teams, characters with the pass keyword gain the Avengers keyword. Then, if Captain America is on an Avengers themed team, friendly characters with the pass keyword have the Avengers team ability this game. This trait is kind of what makes him broken, because you could just play him at 25 points, and now you're able to add any past character onto your Avengers team, giving them the Avengers team ability. Just to name a few, off the top of my head, I'm thinking of almost any piece from Masters of Time. You're talking about Caveman Wally West, Diana, Reverse Flash, and now all of a sudden you could bring them onto an Avengers themed team. If you're playing in Silver, there's characters like Agatha Harkness from the Disney Plus set who takes away powers. Now she's an Avenger. You got Sky Tyrant, who was just a beast back in his day. Now he's an Avenger in Silver. Or even the dreaded Grand Prize Apocalypse, being able to make him an Avenger now, giving him, a +1 to his attack when he attacks now through this Avengers team ability. I just think this is what really separates this Captain America and earns him his spot in the top 5. So getting into the pros for Kooky Quartet Cap, I'd say he has 2 really big ones that I like. Number 1 is obviously the theme team potential. You don't have to run an Avengers past theme team, but you probably should with this guy. It could just be so broken, especially if you're running it in Silver, in my opinion. The next point in the pro column for me is he has 3 different point values. I love this. The fact that you get to decide how much you want to invest in this Captain America and, decide if he's going to be a attacker or just more of a support piece, I think is really good. As for cons with this Captain America, I don't really see a ton. I would say number 1, getting access to his attack power only if you play him at 175 points kind of sucks, because you might want to have access to that and pay a little bit less, but I get it. It's a pretty good attack power. And then the second thing is, if you do decide to play him at 25 points, he's a little bit squishy. He's definitely a great support piece, but he's only 3 clicks long, just has toughness, so you could take him out pretty easily. So, There are two main things I personally would run with this Captain America. Number one is the obvious one that we're going to say for all of them, Mjolnir. It's just a free, easy addition to this cap to give him a little bit of extra range, especially if you're playing him only on click 5 for his 25-point starting value. The next thing is you have to run this guy with an Avengers team. That's what I would pair him with. And specifically, the other pieces that come in this set, the Kooky Quartet Quicksilver and the Kooky Quartet Scarlet Witch. The reason why I like these two specifically is Quicksilver is going to give a +2 speed to anyone with the Avengers team ability, which is now everyone that you added that has the pass keyword through Captain America's team up card trait. The next one is Scarlet Witch. She does something kind of similar where she gives all characters with the Avengers team ability the Mystics team ability. So now not only do you have better mobility because of Quicksilver, if someone decides to attack you, which I mean we're playing Heroclix, so it's going to happen, now they're taking a penetrating damage as well. So that's it for our number 4 spot with Kooky Quartet Cap. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3. Coming in at number 3 for our top 5 Captain Americas is the Avengers 60th Prime Captain America. Out of the top 5 Captain Americas on today's list, this Captain America feels like the most realistic Cap out of all of them. His stats, powers, and abilities just all reflect who Captain America is in the comics, in the TV shows, in the movies, the most accurately, I think. So let's go ahead and get into this one. This Captain America has the Avengers team ability. He has the Avengers, Howling Commandos, Invaders, Shield, Past, and Soldier keywords. He comes in at 45 points, 6 clicks long, has 2 targets, and as you can see, his dial is 100% consistent all the way through with Charge, Precision Strike, Toughness, and Close Combat Expert. His first trait, the Heart of the Avengers, says Leadership, Willpower. When Captain America uses either and succeeds, after resolutions, you may heal 1 click on a friendly character that shares a keyword with him. This is a perfect Captain America trait. We know he's a leader of men, so leadership makes sense. He also has one of the strongest wills in all of comics and pop culture, so willpower makes sense to be traded. But in addition to that, when he succeeds on either of those powers, he can now heal a friendly character 1 click. And if you notice, the only requirements are that they are a friendly character and that they share a keyword with him. So he actually is a friendly character that shares a keyword with himself, so he could be healing himself, but he could also be healing any friendly characters across the entire map. Moving on to his next trait.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield.
This trait grants him knockback and energy shield / deflection, and allows him to make a range action with a range of 4, targeting out of adjacency. It says that Captain America made a close attack this turn, he may use this trait as free instead. This is awesome because Captain America is now getting to attack potentially 2 times per action. So what he's doing is he's charging into battle and he's doing a close attack. He's knocking someone back because of course he is. He's Captain America. And then he's going to chuck his shield at them and do that second attack as free potentially. Not to mention he's passively getting ESD as all Captain Americas should. Now this next trait might be the most Captain America trait I've ever seen on a Captain America Heroclix. It says, no, you move. When it's not your turn, friendly characters have immobile. When it's your turn, opposing characters can't use immobile. This is crazy. I gotta remind you guys that this Captain America is only 45 points. So he's not a whole lot. And I think this is a really good point value for Captain America because Captain America is a super soldier. He's not a super-powered alien from space with, bullets bouncing off of his chest. He's not this crazy powerful Omega-level mutant. He's not a space god who's able to rewrite reality. He is just a normal dude who is slightly above the absolute peak of what humans are capable of. Yet he's still going toe-to-toe with these space gods and all these super ultra powerful beings, often surprising them with his will, and even commanding their respect. And I think that's why this trait is perfect for him. When it's your opponent's turn, they're not moving him. He has immobile, and all of the friendly characters on your team have immobile because he's inspiring them to keep on fighting no matter the odds. And then when it is your turn, all those characters who are supposed to be these powerful beings like, the Juggernaut or Thanos, characters that Captain America really has no business fighting. Now he's able to knock them back, and he's giving friendly characters the ability to knock these characters back also. So let's go ahead and get into some pros for this Captain America. Number one, like I said, he is the most accurate Captain America in my opinion. He's got traded leadership and traded willpower and traded knockback and traded ESD. These are all powers Cap should just have. I love that he's only 45 points. I feel like that is exactly the sweet spot for a Captain America, and he does a lot for those 45 points. Now, as for the cons, I really wouldn't say there's a whole lot. The one thing I can think of is his defense power. It's toughness, which is 100% accurate for Captain America, and that's what it should be. But if you could figure out a way to maybe buff up his defense a little more with maybe invulnerability or invincible somehow, or give him some super senses so he's just a little bit harder to hit and he stays on the map longer, I would say that would make him just that much better. As for notable pairings, there's not really any specific character or equipment I would put on him. I mean, obviously you got all the really good ones like, Mjolnir, Destroyer Armor, Animal Man, and so on. The strategy that I personally would like to run with him is a team that you want to keep close-knit. Maybe a team that has, some defend, a team that just benefits by having all your characters adjacent to each other, because as long as this Captain America is on the map, no one is going to be separating the team. And that's it for Avengers 60th Captain America. So without further ado, let's move on to the runner-up. Number 2. Coming in at our number 2 spot is arguably my favorite Captain America on the list, the Chase Gladiator Cap from Smash and Destroy. Would you say a click is kind of meta if I told you there was one who could attack you for 4 times with a 13 attack and 5 damage, potentially dealing you 20 clicks of damage in one turn? Yeah, I'd say so. And that's exactly what this Captain America does.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
And he actually does a lot more than just that too. So let's get into this. Captain America has the Minions of Doom trait. His keywords are Battle World, Other, Warbound, Animal, Soldier, and Warrior. He comes in at 65 points, able to target 2 characters with special speed and special defense powers. Starting off with his special trait, the Colosseum, there are 3 main points to this power. The first thing he does is at the very beginning of the game, you generate a Colosseum Arena marker. It has to be 4 squares away from all map edges, and it has a radius of 2 squares for its effect. When you place this arena marker, the first thing it does is it destroys all blocking terrain within 2 squares. And then, if anyone's KO'd in the arena marker, or the Colosseum, your friendly character who KO'd an opposing character would score an additional 10 victory points. Now, this is the part, in my opinion, that makes this trait really awesome. It says characters not within 2 squares of the arena marker modify attack and damage -2 when attacking characters within 2 squares of the arena marker. So This Captain America excels at close combat, and as long as you keep him in the Colosseum marker, this is going to force your opponent to have to close the distance and come in and fight you close and personal unless they want their attack and damage to be negatively modified. Moving on to his attack power, I am Captain America of the Super Soldier Program. Face me. Charge and Flurry. I could stop right there and that would already be a great speed power, but it does get better. It says close as free, but only if Captain America is within 2 squares of the arena marker. So if you have this guy in the arena marker, he could charge Flurry and then do another close attack as free. Or if you already have him in position where he doesn't need a charge, now you could do a power action Flurry, and then you could do Flurry as free as well, since you haven't flurried as free already this turn. This is where he really shines, because now you get to do those 4 attacks I was telling you about with Close Combat Expert on his first click, dealing 5 damage with a 13 attack for 4 separate attacks. Then, if your opponent does manage to hit him, he has 2 stop clicks on clicks 4 and 7, which says, "The devil fights with me. Stop. Mastermind. When this click is first revealed, after resolutions, generate a devil dinosaur bystander." Now, this devil dino bystander has a 6 charge, 12 blades, 18 impervious, and 4 enhancement. And he's a giant, so this guy is actually pretty aggressive just on his own. But he does serve as an extra layer of protection for Captain America, because Captain America does have Mastermind on this stop click. Another nice thing about this defense power is that it does work hand in hand with his Minions of Doom trait. With the Minions of Doom trait, if he KOs a standard opposing character, after resolutions, he could heal 1 click on a friendly character using this team ability, and Captain America is friendly to himself. So if you're able to KO an opposing character with Captain America, he can now heal himself past his stop click. However, he could only generate Devil Dino 2 times, once per stop click. So let's go over some pros for this Gladiator Captain America. This guy is definitely a meta attacker, being able to attack potentially 4 times a turn. His Colosseum trait has the ability to reshape the map and force your opponent to come to you or fight within the arena marker. And on top of all of that, he's able to generate another bystander who's actually a really great attacker on his own. Now, as for the cons, they're kind of minor, but I do see 4. Number 1, he does not have the Avengers team ability. I get he's not technically an Avenger, but he's still Captain America. The second con is no Avengers keyword. Same reason, I get he's not an Avenger here, but he is still Cap. The third one I'm seeing is no leadership and no willpower, which, as we said, a few times already, I think every Captain America should have at least one of those. And lastly, this is the biggest one for me, is he has absolutely no reducers. He has combat reflexes, which is nice, and he has Mastermind on those stop clicks to deal them to Devil Dino. But other than that, he has no way to reduce damage. Moving on to some notable pairings, I know this is, once again, one we're adding to all of them, but I think this Captain America specifically really benefits from Mjolnir, giving him the ability to attack from 3 squares away through characters with 2 targets, and getting to attack 4 times just makes this Captain America even more dangerous.
You ever done anything dangerous? Jeez, that is dangerous.
Something else I would really like to pair with him is something like the Destroyer Armor or Animal Man, so you got a way to give him some reducers because he desperately needs those. The next thing I like to do is play him on a team that really forces your opponent to have to come to you. One character I really like playing with him is Mern from the Project Butterfly Iconic set. This really forces your opponent to have to choose their own poison, so to speak. Are they going to attack you from range outside of the Colosseum marker? Well, now they're going to have -2 attack and damage to their stats. Or are they going to come in and meet you in the Colosseum? Well, if they get too close, you have +2 to your defense because of close combat reflexes, and now they can modify their stats while you can still modify your stats because of Mern. But that about wraps it up for Gladiator Captain America. So without further ado, let's get into the number 1 Captain America. Now, I don't have the number 1 Captain America on our list yet. Still working on getting him, but I'm going to put him up on the screen here in a little bit. But that's right, you guys guessed it. It's none other than X-Men 97 Cap. There he is right there on the screen. In your face, Colder, swish. He is the most comic accurate, best Captain America in Heroclix. If you guys watched X-Men 97, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, you got Rogue, who needs, the help of the Captain America. So she goes all the way out, finds Captain America, asks him for his help, and what does he say? No can-do'sville, baby doll. My country says I can't. So what does she do? She takes that stupid tin can, trash can, aluminum shield, and just yeets it in the mountains.
Well, if your hands are tied, you won't be needing this.
That's right, I just love this Captain America because once again, it is the most accurate Captain America we've ever seen in the game of Heroclix. All right, I'm just kidding. That was for Colder. He kind of dogged on my boy Superman the first time I met him, so I had to get him back just a little bit. Obviously, X-Men 97 Cap is not, number 1. But before we get into the number 1 Captain America, let's go over some honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. For the honorable mentions, I want to go over 3 Captain Americas that were close to making the top 5, but just didn't quite make the cut. The first one is one that actually got a lot of votes in the poll I left on Facebook. This is the Smoky Foot Captain America from the Hammer of Thor set. I personally never got to play with this cap because it was before my time, but his special attack power, Deflection Trajectory, says Captain America's line of fire is blocked only by walls and indoor blocking terrain. Back then, this was just a crazy power to have. I mean, the only thing that's stopping this Captain America from being able to attack you with the ranged attack is walls and indoor blocking terrain. Not to mention he has a range of 8. So I could definitely see why this Captain America is beloved by a lot of people. The next Captain America on our honorable mentions list is the Avengers Fantastic Four Empire Captain America. He has traded leadership. He has a really cool trait, which is Avengers Assemble, where he essentially gets to swap out some Avengers. He has 3 different starting lines with some pretty decent stats. The reason why this Captain America holds a special place in my heart is because before the updated rules for Silver came out, where all pieces had to be unique, I was able to use 2 of these Captain Americas to sneak an entire modern team into Silver. I remember one of our local players hated this so much. He said he was going to reach out to Brock and have him change this. And then like a week later, the updated rules came out. So I'm not saying it's my fault that everything has to be unique in Silver now, but it might be. And it might be because of this Captain America. So moving on to our last honorable mention. We have Captain America from Avengers, Black Panther, and the Illuminati. This Chase Captain America, I think, is really, really awesome. You get to equip the Infinity Gauntlet onto him for 15 points. And this is Captain America knocking people back like no other Cap can do. What I really like specifically is his attack power, pushing planets away. It gives him knockback. But when Captain America knocks a character back, you add 10 to the amount of knockback. So this dude is knocking people across the entire map. And then with his special trait, the gems, they want to be together. That last part says Captain America can't be healed and takes a max of 1 damage from an attack. Meaning this Captain America is 6 clicks long. So you have to literally hit him 6 times to KO him because he only takes 1 damage at a time. And yes, that is protected pulse wave on top of that. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. The number 1 Captain America on our list is the WizKids Con exclusive Pegasus Captain America. In the poll I put out in the Facebook group, this was the most voted on Captain America by far. And this Captain America is probably one of the coolest, most badass Captain America sculpts I think we have in Heroclix. I mean, this is literally Captain America riding into battle with a battle axe on a freaking Pegasus. If this doesn't scream freedom, I have no idea what does at this point then. But let's break down this final Captain America. He has the Avengers team ability. He has the Asgardian, Avengers, Defenders, Animal, Past, Soldier, and Warrior keywords. He comes in at either 125 points or 40 points, and he has improved movement through characters. He can target 2 characters at a time with a range of 4, and he has a special attack power, a special speed power, and a trait. So we'll start off with the trait. Trust me, they can be useful. Energy shield / deflection and leadership. Other friendly characters that are adjacent or that have the Asgardian or Avengers keywords can use energy shield / deflection. What have we been talking about this entire time, guys? Every Captain America should have ESD and leadership traded, and this Captain America comes through with this trait. But on top of that, he gives other friendly characters ESD as well, as long as they're either Asgardian or Avengers, or if they don't share any keywords with him, he can still give them ESD as long as they're close enough to hide behind his shield. Next, his special speed power, he gets whether you use him at 125 points or at 40 points, and that is leading by example. Hypersonic speed. When Captain America uses it and hits, after resolutions, choose up to 2 friendly characters. This turn, the chosen characters can use charge and modify speed by +1 when they use it. This is another great power. I mean, you have Captain America with hypersonic speed, speeding through the battlefield on a Pegasus. He doesn't have to worry about breaking away. He's flying over things. If you play him at 40 points, he has a hypersonic speed of 8. Or if you play him at the 125, he can move 9 squares. And on top of that, if you use hypersonic speed and you're able to hit, now you're able to give 2 friendly characters who may not have a move and attack power the ability to charge in a battle now. And last, we have his special attack power, which he gets throughout his entire dial. This attack power is what solidifies this Captain America in the number 1 spot on this list. And that attack power is Yarnbjorn. When Captain America targets a single character with an attack, that character can't use defense powers. This is such a powerful attack power. Being able to go ahead and get through any defense power in the game. We're talking about reducers, we're talking about super senses, and we're talking about the big one, which is most stop clicks. As long as it's a defense power, this Captain America is blowing right past it. There's not too many pieces in the game of Heroclix that can do something like this without having to use Outwit or some special power that targets a character, or having to be, adjacent to that character or something like that. This is one of the few that it just passively happens anytime you attack a character. So let's move on to some pros for the number 1 Captain America. So right off the bat, he has some of the best keywords for any Captain America. He has Asgardian, Avengers, Defenders, Animal, Past, Soldier, and Warrior. So you're going to be able to equip him with a lot of pretty good equipment absolutely for free. Next, he's a team leader once again. Traded leadership, traded ESD, and he's potentially giving everyone on your team ESD. He has hypersonic speed and moves through character, so he has some amazing movement, and really no one's tying this guy down. And you get access to all of these powers and all of these abilities for just 40 points if you play him at his lowest point value. But no piece is perfect, so let's go ahead and look at some of the cons for this Captain America. As cool as the peanut bases are, and like I said, I love them. They're really, really cool. This sculpt is amazing. But because it is a peanut base, he cannot be TK'd at all. So that hurts his movability just a little bit, but he makes up for it with everything else he can do. Now, the last really big con that's worth mentioning, in my opinion, is his highest point value is 125 points. Now, an argument could definitely be made that this guy's worth it at 125 points anyways, but it's still just a lot of points to dedicate to one character, especially if you're trying to play competitively in Modern or Silver. Last but not least, let's go over some notable pairings. Obviously, we got Mjolnir, which is a great weapon to add to him for free. I think out of all the weapons you can add to this guy for free, I think you should be giving him the Destroyer armor. This is going to help make him even harder to hit with potentially a 21 defense or a 20 defense, depending on what point value you play him at. It's going to make sure he has a good reducer once he gets to his last few clicks on clicks 6 through 8, where he has no reducers, and is going to give him some willpower, which he doesn't have at all. So it would be nice to have a way to keep clearing tokens off of him to make sure he's able to keep hypersonicking around the map and attacking characters through all their defense powers. Now, if you're playing in Silver and want to play even more offensively with this Captain America, I'd recommend pairing him with the Skybreaker equipment from the X of Swords set. This equipment is going to allow him to attack twice, meaning now you get 2 attacks where you get to just blast through all defensive powers. Now, one last thing I want to mention that I like pairing with this Captain America as often as I can is the one-shot Heimdall sight. This one-shot makes it so that for at least one turn, this Captain America will have a minimum range of 8 no matter what. Meaning, normally when you hypersonic speed, you have to half your range if you're doing a ranged attack. But with this one shot, his range would still be 8. Meaning he could attack you from completely across the map, especially if you have him paired with the Destroyer armor. Now he's able to also see over everything because he's a giant. You guys let me know if you have any ideas with this, but I have been trying to work on a team where I play him at 125 points, use a couple of enhancements to get his damage up to a 7, maybe some perplexes or something to get his attack value up also, to make sure I land the attack. But using that Heimdall sight to move that Captain America and potentially deal one of my opponents 7 damage straight through all defense powers completely, I think that is an awesome play if you could pull it off. That probably KOs most heavy hitters in the game, period. So there you guys have it. Thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. If you agree with my top 5 Captain Americas, comment below and let me know. And if you disagree, you think your favorite Captain America was snubbed somehow, comment that below too, why you think your Captain America should have made the top 5 list. If you have any other ideas or characters you want to see for a top 5 list, comment that below also. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, keep on clicksing.